Dream demons. There's nothing quite like them. We probably first came up with most terrifying beasts after the sun went down. Whether we were awake or asleep doesn't really matter. But the most nightmarish of creatures, of course, make appearances in our nightmares. It only makes sense. But there's a difference between those who are dreamed up by sleeping people and those who choose to enter someone's dreams. The latter is much more dangerous and as a result a whole lot scarier. Hopefully this list doesn't inspire too much demonic dreaming. It's time for the top 5 scary demons who have entered dreams. Coming in at number 5, we've got the Shadow Doll. Now, you probably already know all about Annabelle. She's the face of spooky dolls the world over, featured in major Hollywood motion pictures and brought Ed and Lorraine plenty of fame. Appearing as a Raggedy Annie in real life, she can move around when folks aren't looking, write little messages, and cause psychic damage, even attempting to strangle people on occasion. That's a damn scary doll for sure. However, there is another doll that the Warrens held onto over the years, and this one has all sorts of other powers you might want to worry about. I'm talking about the Shadow Doll and its ability to enter people's dreams. This doll isn't just scary because of how it looks, although that does play a big part here. Just look at it, it's awful. That's the kind of face you'd want to build a horror franchise around, not some porcelain monstrosity that in reality should be a goofy little toy. But that's just the visual appeal, or lack of appeal. The Shadow Doll can haunt people in their sleep and even causes folks to perish overnight. How does this happen? Well, it's said that anyone who looks at the doll is at risk of being cursed, which is pretty powerful to be honest. A lot of cursed objects require you to pick them up, wear them, or insult them in some way before you're at their mercy. The Shadow Doll just needs your brain to register that you've seen it, and it could be game over. It's not explained how it makes this happen, but if you can see it, it can get you. Sheesh. To make matters worse, this dream invasion isn't limited to those who witness the Shadow Doll in person. Even seeing a picture of this fiend is enough to send you to the Shadow Realm. And unlike after a jolly game of Duel Monsters, there's no real way to return. You might be wondering what being visited by the Shadow Doll is like. It's said that this doll will appear in your dreams as a malevolent presence, lurking in the background. Eventually, it will reveal itself to you, and let's just say, seeing it in motion is no bueno. Those who are lucky will survive for a little while. It might not kill you outright, but in some cases, folks don't make it through their first night of Shadow Doll possession. Hopefully these pictures don't cause too many problems. Coming at number 4, sleep paralysis demons. It's likely that these particular creatures have inspired the creation and dissemination of demonic ideas more than anything else. The first person to experience something like this must have absolutely lost their mind. I bet they went around telling everyone who would listen about their terrifying nighttime experience, probably to the tune of shock and horror. When you wake up in the middle of the night to an intense pressure on your chest and realize you can't move, you're gonna freak out. Add in the potential dream state sticking around, bringing a hallucinatory demon to the table, and you'll never want to sleep again. Goodness gracious, sleep paralysis is horrifying. There are plenty of scientific explanations behind the phenomenon, but none really dissuade folks from being terrified of it happening to them. And again, depending on the person who's seeing these things, we could end up with a lot of different demonic imagery. Everyone's brain works a little differently, so what's scary to one person might not be so spooky to another. But the more this happens, the more folks will relay their tales, and the more ideas of demons will be floating around in the world. Look from culture to culture and you'll see a wide variety of these presences in folklore. In Brazil, there's the pisadeira, an old woman who climbs onto roofs and looks through windows to seek victims. If you go to bed with a full stomach, it's likely that you're gonna end up being visited by her. Then there's the Japanese kanashibari, named to imply that the demons fasten you down with metal. Ouch. Western tales describe shadow people who just barely take form and move through the dark, only really able to be seen through peripheral vision. A lot of people say that lucid dreaming will also influence one's ability to be visited by one of these demons. It's hard to trace the exact origin of the sleep paralysis demon, and explaining sleep paralysis is a mess in and of itself. Oh me, oh my. Coming in at number 3, we've got the Alp, not the mountain, and don't mix it up with the cat-eating alien either. This creature originates from German folklore and can cause you all sorts of headaches. Some liken it to a vampire, others to demons like the incubus. It will visit people at night and sit on their bodies, although they do not attempt to initiate sexual acts like incubi and succubi. If the person doesn't wake up, the Alp will often hop into their dreams and control what they see. It's not common for them to give people good dreams either. Nightmares, end to end. Now, the dream visits and nightmare manipulation are only part of what makes an Alp scary and annoying. It also drinks blood from people's nipples and plays all sorts of heinous pranks. Spoiling milk, re-diapering babies, tying up horses' tails into knots, the works. These little gremlins are the worst. And they can shapeshift too. What a bag of fun they are. Coming in at number 2, we've got the Batibat. Vengeful demons are absolutely terrible, eh? They just cause problem after problem and they don't ever give up. They've got vengeance to claim. The Batibat is a vengeful mythical demon found in Ilocanco folklore, also known as the Bagungot in Tagalong tales. It appears as an ancient, enormous, morbidly obese female tree spirit. If someone fells the tree that they live in, they will follow the wood around wherever it goes. This is especially true if the wood is used in the building of a house. In that case, the Batibat will haunt whoever lives in that abode for as long as they remain. Hell, sometimes it'll even follow the person who cut the tree down regardless of where the wood ends up. But in the case of a home with a Batibat branch inside of it, the demon will reside inside of that piece of their tree and refuse to let the residents get near it. If someone sleeps close to the tree part, they will have horrifying, suffocating dreams full of monsters and ruin. They've been known to kill people in this way, invading their dream space and squeezing the oxygen right out of them. However, there is a way to shake this. It's said that if you bite your thumb and wiggle your toes, you might wake yourself up from the dream, therefore avoiding death. However, you definitely can't go back to sleep in that area because the demon will be ready to pounce once more. And at number 1, we've got Freddy Krueger, Mr. Dream Demon himself, the Nightmare on Elm Street. A major reason folks can't wear red and green striped shirts without looking a little creepy anymore. What a legend. The United States didn't have much in terms of dream invading legends for a while there, but when Freddy showed up, that changed quick. After being burned to death for committing heinous crimes, Freddy returned as an incorporeal being. He would decipher their worst fears and use that information against them in their dreams. Freddy gets creative when he kills, too, employing all sorts of strange, specific, and abstract ideas to end the lives of those unfortunate enough to cross him. Now, Freddy is a fictional creation, a very popular, famous fictional creation, but totally made up nonetheless. But like all classic tales of demons, he made his way into the culture at large and cannot be ignored. I'm not gonna go ahead and say that Freddy Krueger is real and will kill you, but he's so well known, so pervasive throughout the modern horror sphere, I wouldn't be surprised if he one day got dreamed into reality. Just like a curse, demons thrive on negative human energy, and people have a way of making terrible things happen without really meaning to. So while you think of your favorite Freddy dream moment, be careful not to think too hard about it. You don't want something like that manifesting. I'd say sweet dreams, but it isn't too likely after what we just talked about. Maybe sleep sweet, but even that's pushing it. Only real demon fans will get that reference. So, what'd you think of the list? Do you agree with my picks? What dream demon gets your nightmare motor running? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your more heinous ones from the top 5 scary demons living on Earth Part 2. Ancestor Empire says the white rabbit from Monty Python's Search for the Holy Grail is a demon and still out there. Somewhere. Just don't be exploring caves you know nothing about. John Gearchak says, I learned somewhere that the more additional limbs, horns, heads, etc., the more powerful a spirit is. So those hideous types are frightening in many ways. Good to know that fearsomeness correlates with fearsome looks. Susan Yee says, oh my daughter got her PhD in rhetoric. I wonder if one of her professors was one Dr. Renove. If not a professor, then maybe a TA or a fellow classmate in disguise. Nicholas the Soulless says, Arimon sounds like a Digimon or a Pokemon or a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Am I the only one who thinks that? I could definitely see him being an addition to Magic. And Amal says, good for watching at 3 a.m. Literally. Well, I'm glad we're not speaking figuratively here. And that's the time we have for today. I am going to hike the Bright Angel Trail, no water. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.